Hi, everyone. So, in my last two videos, I touched on two really important communication theories: expectancy violation and symbolic convergence. And to finish out this series, I wanted to talk to you all about cultivation theory, which touches on the topic of TV viewership and how it shapes our reality based on the content we're seeing. So, this theory was first presented by George Gerbner in 2005. And Gerbner is the Dean Emeritus of the Annenberg School for Communication at the University of Pennsylvania and is the founder of the cultural environment movement. Uh, the basis of his theory is that people who spend too much time watching TV develop an exaggerated view of mean and scary world. And the violence that people see on the screen can cultivate a social paranoia that counters notions in trustworthy people and safe surroundings. So, with cultivation theory, we have a three-pronged analysis: institutional process analysis, message system analysis, and cultivation analysis theory. So, we'll begin with the first prong, which is institutional process analysis. It represents scholars' concern for the reason why media companies produce the messages that they do. And in order to figure this out, researchers had to penetrate behind the scenes of media organizations to understand what policies or practices might be lurking there. We then move on to the second prong, which is the message system analysis. It is the idea of knowing exactly what messages TV transmits. And there has to be a careful and systematic study of the TV content. So we talked about first why media companies share the messages that they do. And in this second prong, we talk about what exactly are the messages they're sharing. And finally, we end up with the third prong, which is cultivation analysis. It is the concept of referring to the independent contribution that television viewing makes to audience members' conceptions of the social reality. And television viewing cultivates the ways in which we view the world. So the more you watch TV, the more readily you will assume that it is accurately representing the reality. So there were a couple other important things that come with cultivation theory. It stated that cultivation works like a magnetic or gravitational field, that TV content pulls us in, even if we feel like it's not doing so. Oh, what's also important is that for those who consume lots of TV, it's the most accessible information for making judgments, and they are more likely to use TV shows as a means of evaluating reality than from any other media source. There's also the important concept of mainstreaming, which is the blurring and blending of reality with what we are seeing. And then finally, resonance is especially important, meaning that if the TV world looks like mine, then it must be true. Gerbner thought that cultivating power of TV messages would be especially strong over viewers who perceived their world depicted on TV. So there were a few major findings with cultivation analysis. There was a positive correlation between TV viewing and fear of criminal victimization. There was also a perceived activity of police. People who had high viewing habits believed that 5% of society is involved in law enforcement. And finally, there was just a general mistrust of people. And finally, we'll talk about the critique of the theory. There were many theorists who brought forth questions and concerns about Gerbner's thoughts. They thought that his definition could be challenged, that the theory does not clearly establish the claim, that there was a correlation between TV viewing and the fear of criminal victimization, that there were low marks on the criterion of his testability, and reservations about evidence, as well as points that Gerbner had made in the past are no longer true due to the modernization of culture. So that is just another quick analysis of a communication theory, and it allows for you all to get a quick idea of what cultivation theory is and how it plays a role in describing TV content and our view of reality.